Why did Jin choose to go alone when Jungkook flew with his team? Is it just a matter of tour schedule, or is there something deeper, something hurts? Question after question started popping up after Dispatch's camera caught Jin's cold expression at the airport. And what is most surprising, all this may relate to one familiar name, Taehyung. Is their friendship on the edge? Or is this precisely the beginning of a conflict that has long been hidden, finally revealed? The Reason Jin Didn't Go with Jungkook. All because of Taehyung? Is this just a coincidence, or is there something much bigger going on behind the scenes of South Korea's entertainment industry? When BTS's name mastered trending topics due to the surprising togetherness between Jungkook and Taehyung in a live broadcast, one figure was actually seen walking alone in the airport aisle with a face without makeup and eyes that hold 1,000 meanings. Kim Seokjin. The world seemed to come to a standstill when Dispatch released a short video footage of Jin at the airport, wearing a gray hoodie, training pants, and a thin smile that didn't really reach his eyes. The video was supposed to be ordinary, but fans' comments flooded the timeline with confused, worried tones, and not a few began to suspect. Why is Jin alone? Where's Jungkook? Don't they usually go together? And more importantly, what is Taehyung's role in all this? The seemingly simple question actually opens the veil wider about what is really going on behind the scenes of Jin's solo tour titled Run Seokjin EP tour, which starts from Goyang and will greet fans in various parts of the world. The tour was announced by Big Hit on April 18, 2025, along with the release of their second solo album, Echo. But unexpectedly, when Jin was at the peak of his solo activities, he was not with the other members. Not with Jungkook, not with Taehyung, not with anyone. Did I ask there something HYB didn't say? Why this massive promotion seemed cold? Why does the genie's expression at the airport feel more like someone swallowing disappointment than a star embarking on a global tour? Even when the promotional video of ALO Yoga and IGN Apple Tonic was plastered large behind it, Jin did not seem excited. Instead, he walked quickly, as if he wanted to leave the place immediately. Or maybe someone. At the same time, Jungkook was seen with his team at a different terminal. Dressed in casual but still fashionable clothes, Jungkook waved to the camera, greeting fans with a bright smile that contrasted with Jin's aura. Observant fans immediately noticed something odd. Jin and Jungkook usually fly together. Why not this time? Is it all just a matter of schedule? Or is it the result of something more personal, more emotional, and more complicated? Suspicion began to lead to one name again sticking out in the conversations of fans and the media: Kim Taehyung. Taehyung and Jungkook recently did a live broadcast that shocked the entire fandom. In a very emotional 11 minutes, the two throw each other laughs, nostalgia, and jokes that only the two of them understand. But not a few soldiers felt there was a deeper layer of meaning to the live, especially when Taehyung mentioned not all members can be together like they used to be. What does that mean? Fans began to associate the moment with Jin's absence. Is live some kind of satire? Or a veiled warning? This was further reinforced by the fact that a few hours after the live broadcast, Jin was seen at the airport alone. Is it possible that Jin decided not to be with them because of Taehyung's words? Or was it because he wasn't invited? Theories began to emerge. Some say that Jin deliberately kept his distance due to an unfinished conflict with Taehyung. There is also a mention that Jin feels abandoned by the two youngest members, who now seem closer to each other. Is this the beginning of the rupture of the 3J formation? One thing is for sure, the expression of the genie at the airport was not an ordinary expression. He looked tired, not physically, but emotionally. Plain face without makeup, it seems, cannot hide his true feelings. Korean netizens even viralized snippets of the video with captions such as, "Jin looks like she's keeping a big secret, and there's something wrong behind her smile." And as if the world were playing a riddle, Big Hit chose not to answer anything. There is no clarification on the difference in schedules. There is no statement on why Jin and Jungkook flew apart. There is no confirmation on whether Jin is deliberately staying away from Taehyung or quite the opposite. However, fans are not fools. They know Jin. They knew when he was smiling from happiness, and they could feel when the smile was just a mask. They also knew when HYB was hiding something, especially when fans discovered that one of the main promos for the album Echo, a song that Jin allegedly wrote with injuries after his military service, contained lyrics that seemed to be aimed at someone who used to be close but is now far away. Lines like, "You chose the path I didn't follow," and "I chose the silence you never asked" become a kind of emotional clue sticking out from behind the quiet music. Did I ask it about Taehyung? Or about the three-way relationship between Jin, Taehyung, and Jungkook that now feels unbalanced? Keep in mind, before Jin left for the army, he was the most vocal member about team cohesiveness. He is often the mediator in the midst of minor conflicts. But now that he was back, he looked like a stranger to them. Has time changed that dynamic? Or did something happen in his absence? More surprisingly, when the promotion of the album Echo took place, only Jimin was seen giving support directly through Instagram stories. No post from Jungkook, no comment from Taehyung. Silence. And for fans, that silence is more painful than 1,000 words. Now the public is wondering, is this the beginning of a new phase of BTS? One in which their individuality becomes stronger than being together? Or is it just a small storm that will soon subside? However, one thing cannot be ignored. Jin walked alone at the airport not only because of schedule differences, not because of promos, But because there is something invisible, inaudible, yet felt like a wound that has not yet had time to be sutured, and if all of this really has anything to do with Taehyung, then the big question is, what's really going on between the three of them? And more than that, is this the beginning of a slow breakup that we never imagined before? ARMY can only wait and hope while playing the song Echo with an unsettled heart. Because sometimes, music is the only way for Jin to tell the truth. Since the release of Echo on April 15th, 2025, ARMY has been treated to the most raw and emotional side of Kim Seokjin. This album is not just a solo album, but a kind of open letter. A record of travel, heartbreak, doubt, and maybe feeling of loss. And as people tried to interpret lyric after lyric, one theme kept floating across the surface. Unexpected Solitude on the album's third track, titled Bridge of Silence. Jin sings in an almost fragile-sounding voice, "We stand on the bridge we built together, but why is it only me waiting on this side?" The lyrics quickly sparked speculation. Does the bridge refer to a friendship that is now one way? Is the other side Taehyung, or maybe Jungkook? Netizens immediately linked the lyrics to the airport incident. That in fact, Jin waited. But no one came. No one accompanied him away. No one welcomed him home. What made the moment even more emotional was when some fans compared Jin's video at the airport about to tour with an old BTS video of them together heading overseas. In the past, Jin was always in the middle, laughing, touching Jungkook's shoulder, nudging Taehyung, or teasing Jimin. Now, only the quiet clatter of steps on the marble floor is heard. Some ARMY even said that this felt like a painful, silent farewell. Does Taehyung know how he feels? A fanbase account at OT7_Lens released an analysis of Taehyung and Jungkook's previous live sessions. They dissect expressions, intonations, even word choices. One of Taehyung's most suspicious words was when he said with a laugh, "Now we can do this again, huh? The three of us always have our time." The three of us? Only two people live. Where's the other one? Does that mean Jin wasn't invited to live together? Or worse, did he choose not to appear because of an unhealed wound? Some comments have suggested that the line feels like satire, or even some kind of implied denial of the possibility of Jin rejoining emotionally with the once tight dynamics of 3Jade, and the public began to question again. How deep is this rift really? HYB, as always, chose mum. There were no official statements, no clarifications about togetherness or differences in schedules. But the lack of clarity is fueling more speculation. And speculation, in the world of fandom, can fuel an uncontrollable fire, especially when Jin, in one of his interviews for Echo Promotions, said vaguely, "Sometimes the most painful thing is not because you are abandoned, but because you are no longer spoken to." That sentence is so simple, yet so impassioned. And fans know, Jin never says anything without meaning to. Is this a form of expression that Jin feels alienated from BTS's current dynamics? Does he begin to feel that his closeness to certain members is now only a memory? A surprise came when at the tour premiere performance of Run Seokjin EP tour in Goyang, Jin performed a new song that was not on the official tracklist of the Echo album, titled Moon Behind You. The song immediately grabbed attention for its lyrics that seemed aimed at someone very specific. "You say I'm your light, but why don't you look up at the night sky anymore?" The song brought tears to fans at the venue. Many believe that this song was written by Jin for someone who was once so close, but is now moving away for no apparent reason. And yes, the name that immediately crossed their minds was none other than Taehyung. The emotional climax occurred when Jin's appearance was posted on HYB's official platform, but none of the BTS members were seen commenting on the upload. No heart emoji, no repost stories, no proud captions from other members. Empty. Quiet. Cold. Meanwhile, promotional accounts for brands that work with Jin, such as ALO Yoga and IGN Apple Tonic, actually share Jin's moments with enthusiasm. A wrenching irony. The outside community is more enthusiastic about supporting Jin than the people he once referred to as family, and fans began to dare to speak out. They tagged HYB and BTS official accounts, posting comments like, "Why didn't anyone support Jin when he was on a solo tour? You say BTS is family, but why does it feel like Jin is being ignored?" It's not about promotion, it's about lost friendships. They even started creating gated campaigns like #WeSeeYouJin and #SupportSeokjin which immediately became trending topics in Korea and Japan. And of course, all of this makes many people wonder, has Jin's relationship with Taehyung and Jungkook really deteriorated? Or is this just a temporary phase full of misunderstandings? But the answer did not come. Even in an international media interview conducted a few days after Goyang's concert, when Jin was asked if the members were providing support, he only replied quietly, they must be busy with their respective activities. But his eyes were glazed over when he said it. And his smile did not convince anyone. One journalist even said that the atmosphere of the interview turned tense shortly after Jin gave the answer. The media team tried to change the topic, but questions have been thrown and wounds have been opened. On Instagram, Jungkook posted a photo of a sunset on the beach with the caption, "Time heals everything, or make us forget." The caption was directly associated with the drama that was happening. Is this a form of recognition that there is indeed a distance that is beginning to be difficult to bridge? Or is it just a coincidence? And Taehyung, keep quiet. As usual, but ARMY knows, in the world of BTS, silence can make a sound. This story is not over. It's just beginning. And all eyes are now on the next stages of the Run Seekjin EP tour.
Tour.
Will Jungkook or Taehyung be there in the end?